Hey folks, John here, We'll Take Reforge. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome. So, first things first, where in the world have I been? It's been about 2 months since my last upload. Well, short answer, the holiday rush was pretty nuts this year, and I didn't have time to do anything except work. There was also some unfortunate family business that took me out of the shop at kind of a bad time. But we're getting back on track. I got a little bit of room to breathe now. There's still, a few orders in the overdue column, but we got a little bit of room to breathe. So I'm taking the day and kind of working on something that I think will be pretty cool. What I want to make is a little tiny anvil. And as you can see, I've already made one of these. There's a few things I want to do differently. I'd like wider feet. I'd like the whole thing to kind of be bigger. I actually think making it bigger will make my life a little bit easier, because getting into all these curves and whatnot is kind of a pain. So what I got here to start with, 2-inch round 1045, 6 inches long. This is about 5 pounds of material, and we're going to see what we can do. So if you want to check it out, stick around. Alrighty, we got our pseudo cube made. It's a little bit taller than it is wide and thick and everything, but that'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. We got plenty of material to play with. Next step is to forge in basically a big fuller to separate the material from the body from the material for the feet. I'm probably going to put it about 3/4 of the way down or so. Obviously, we need more material to make the top of the anvil than we do to make the bottom. At least that's what I think. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go. But there's that, so let's get moving. Alrighty, so we got our isolation forged in. We got our bit for our feet down here, bit for the top of the anvil up here. I'm a bit worried I might have a little bit too much, but that's okay. It's better to have too much up here than it is too much down here, because we can cut off excess as we forge out the horns. But the next step is to run another fuller right on here to gain a little more width, and then go through on the flats and square everything up and crisp it up. I want the feet pretty much completely done before I start messing with the top half. So that's what's happening now. The next step after putting in that fuller is kind of tricky, because now the bottom of the anvil is all upset and out of whack. So what we need to do is cool off about the top 3/4 of the anvil, not enough to harden it, just enough so that it doesn't move very much. And then we need to put it in here and press it down to try to flatten out that base real good. And then we'll dress up the shape using the smaller flat dies. So that actually worked really stinking good, actually. We're almost flat on the bottom. Now our fuller's kind of jacked up, so what I'm going to do next is kind of go back and forth between doing the upset and dressing up the fullers until this bottom is nice and flat and my lines look nice and crisp. So that's all that's happening now. Alrighty, so that's not looking too terrible at all in terms of flatness, as well as where I want the overall shape of the base to end up and everything. So next step, we need to take another good hot heat and start forging out this top end. Alrighty, so now comes the most difficult part, and that's getting in here and drawing out the horn and the heel. So we're gonna have to kind of creatively use the corner of the dies and finagle it around a little bit, but we'll make it happen. So the biggest challenge I'm having with this thing is drawing out the heel and the horn, because when you try to use the edge of the flat dies, not only does it leave all those horrific gouges in there, but it also just kind of deflattens the top. As you saw, I was just trying to square the whole thing back up. So the solution I've found, it's not ideal, but it works. I've got this thing braced up against my anvil block. I got my top fuller. I'm coming in here and just striking with a heavy hammer, trying to pull that material out. So it's slow go, but we can make it happen. Alrighty, so I've been fighting with this thing for a while, trying to get it how I like it. I feel like there's just not enough material in here to make these horns the way I want them. So we are going to do every blacksmith's favorite thing and toss it and start over. All right, so what I think I'm going to do differently this time is I'm going to give myself a little bit more mass to make the feet. I liked how the feet looked, but I'd like them to be just a little bit bigger. And whenever I go in for this step to, rather than just flattening out the whole top half, I'm going to come at it sideways with the drawing dies and try to pull this material more side to side to give me a better starting point and give me a little more mass to make the horns. All right, boys, so we're just about back where we left off. So like I said, next step, rather than just pressing this whole thing flat with the flat dies, I'm going to come at it sideways with the drawing dies and try to pull this out more to get a better starting point to draw out the horns, and used a little more material on the feet, so that's looking pretty good. Hopefully this works out. All right, so here's about where we are after drawing that out. We're in a better place than we were last time, but we still have the problem of having to draw out these horns from the underside, this, that, and the other. And I think what I need to do is just be more aggressive with my initial press in the flat dies, tilt it this way, come at it from here, pinch that material out that way, and then try to dress it up. I think me trying to forge the taper a little bit at a time was what led to a lot of fish mouthing on the ends, as well as just generally screwing everything up. So my strategy this time is to go at it with just a little more wind in my sails, and we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, we toss it and start over again. You know, we're learning. I dare say that's looking like something. Not much of something right now, but we definitely got a lot more mass to work with making the horns. So what we're gonna do now, heat this baby up, cool off the bottom, press the top flat, and kind of get more of an idea of what we're working with. Alrighty, so after flattening the top out and then hitting the waist with the small fullers one more time, because once these horns are drawn out, we're not gonna be able to get in there very good. We're in a pretty good place as far as mass we got to draw the horns out, so that's the next step. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to use a set of fullers or just gently go in here with the edges of the flat dies and gently pinch those out. I think I might try both, and we'll see which one works the best. Alrighty, so we're looking pretty good as far as dimensions that I want. I'm gonna let this guy cool and we'll hit the grinder, flatten the top and bottom, dress up all the curves, and get the Hardy and Pritchell started. So as of now, after cleaning this little guy up on the grinder, we got 3 pounds and 14.6 ounces. So I'm just going to mark it with a 4 for the weight marking. If anybody wants to come at me for 1.5 ounces, you're welcome to. But next step, we'll heat this guy up. Go ahead and get the Hardy hole drifted, get it marked, put the touch mark, date, weight marking, and then we'll heat treat this baby. So the drift I'm using for the Hardy hole is just a little piece of 1/4-inch square mild steel. I didn't want to bother using anything tougher because this is so small and relative to the thermal mass of the anvil that no matter what you use, even H13 or something, it's going to heat up and distort really quick. Just assume this drift is going to need to be dressed after pretty much every heat. Also, in the event that this thing gets stuck, this will be a lot easier to drill out than something made of tool steel would. Alrighty, we are looking like something. Hardy hole went a little bit crooked on me, but it's not the end of the world, is what it is. But we got our touch mark, our weight marking, and the date this guy was made. We'll normalize this guy 3 times and we'll hit the heat treat. This is 1045, so we're gonna be going into water. Then it'll be tempered in the oven at an hour and a half, or for an hour and a half at 400. Should be good to go. Alrighty, 1045, water quench steel, nothing crazy. Just be sure to keep it moving. Alrighty, I've had this thing soaking in a bath of muriatic acid for a few hours now. Help get the scale off. I don't see any cracks. If there were any cracks, the acid would really bring them out. So we're looking pretty good. We'll wire brush this guy to get a nice smooth finish, paint it, clean up the face, dress the edges, and be good to go. Just for fun, I'll give this guy a ball bearing test. What I got here, 1-inch hardened steel ball bearing. Pretty cool. So there we have it. One little 4-pound mini double horn anvil. So how do you like that? One little 4-pound mini double horn anvil with a 1/4-inch hardy hole and a 3/16 Pritchel. Hardened, tempered, totally functional. You could forge with this if you wanted to. You might need a pretty small hammer, but is what it is. I had a really good time forging this thing. I might try a London pattern anvil next. I think that would come out kind of cool. But this little guy here is actually for December's quarterly Patreon giveaway. I know it's late, is what it is. I've explained how busy I've been at the start of the video, but we are going to get that guy knocked out real quick. So what I got here, all the patrons of the channel are typed into my trusty Wheel of Names random name picker. So let's spin this bad boy, pick us a winner. Craig Clark. I don't know if you can see or not. So there you have it, Craig Clark. If you want this little guy, it's yours. Just get in touch with me on any of the social media. All the links will be down in the description. Shoot me your shipping info, and I'll get this little guy out to you. So that's all I got for you. Of course, I want to end the video by just saying thanks. Thanks to all the subscribers. Thanks to everyone who comments. Huge shout out to the patrons. Thanks to everyone who follows me on Facebook and Instagram, which you all should be doing. Links down below. So there's that. But huge thanks to everyone who purchases work off of the Etsy. If your order's still late, I'm working on it, I promise. Like I said, the holiday rush was unprecedented this year. I'm only one guy and there's only so many hours in the day. But I got big plans going forward for 2021. I got lots of great ideas for lots of awesome videos. So it's going to be pretty awesome. If you want to check it out, stick around. But in the meantime, y'all take care.